Ocala.
Diamonds in the sunset, now your time has come.
All right, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this morning. I had to take a double take there. Wow, the morning went fast, didn't it? A good friend of the station, a good friend of the show, is in the studio, and he's going to talk to us about something he's never talked to us about before. Anthony James is here. I think we've known him from so many different things in the community, and today we're going to talk about a movie, and I think you're an actor in the movie. Am I right about that?
Yes, he is.
All right. Well,
Yes,
good to see you again, Anthony.
It was
And
fun, and it was hot.
Yeah.
and Erica Summers, this is our first time meeting you.
Yes,
I apologize
hello.
if I'm wrong about that. Okay, good. Sometimes we forget who we meet, you know.
You will not forget me. I'm wearing neon.
Oh, I won't
So,
forget
just-
you.
yeah.
No, I never forget Pretty Women. That's just so you know. Robin will tell you. Erica is the writer, director, and producer of this of a movie, locally produced movie that I have an autographed. What is it? I think a mini poster.
Yeah,
the movie is called Mr. White. Even a loser can win. Oh, I like that.
It's a horror.
That's a horror.
It's a thrilling horror film.
What is it? Okay.
Horror. Yeah.
HORROR.
Yes.
How did you pronounce it?
Mr. White.
No, not that part.
Horror.
And what is that guy? I mean, is he a bad guy?
Well, he's the hero and he's the villain.
He's a
in way.
local actor?
He is out of Palm Coast. This was actually his debut film, so we were lucky enough to get him on that. He auditioned, and originally we gave him a very small role. I think he had 2 lines originally, and then things didn't work out with the original lead, so we went back to the drawing board to look for someone to fill those shoes. And so we saw Andy's audition and really liked it and thought that he was perfect for the part. He's got like a small physique and definitely seems like what the character is. And I mean, the film's about bullying. It's got a very strong central theme about bullying. So he definitely fit as far as someone you could believe would be bullied. Because
in this picture he looks like a serious Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Right?
We hear a lot of different comparisons. We hear Adam Lambert the most. I think it has to do with the makeup. And
Adam Lambert, I thought was a woman for the longest time.
I know. So
I don't know that he looks like a woman.
Whatever he is.
Yeah. All right. So Anthony, what do you do in the movie?
I play a slave.
Oh man!
I don't know how that happened.
What is wrong? What is this typecasting? What's going on here?
I don't know. They just say I fit the film. I don't know what that meant.
Have you acted before?
No, I've done school plays and stuff like that, but nothing like this. And it was great to.
Did they come to you, or did you come to them?
No, I think I auditioned. The auditions were at my hotel, and I actually auditioned for it.
Oh, I see.
And it was great. My daughter's in the film as well, and but it was so cool to be out there to learn this stuff. And she was so great. I mean, everything that she did was just great. Everything from the locations and how she put the whole thing together.
So how far back does this go? When was the audition?
Oh man,
May.
Yeah.
May.
Oh, a year ago.
Yeah.
A year and a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. About 14 months ago.
So did you both find yourselves on a daily? Were you keeping a schedule like you always hear about movie makers? They know exactly where they're going to be on a certain day. Was that the case?
Somewhat.
Yeah?
So I try to stay pretty organized, but the problem is a lot of times I'll make a plan, and that's just not how life goes. And someone will call me 30 minutes before we're supposed to be somewhere, and they'll be like, "Yeah, you remember how I said you could use the bank?" Yeah, no, you're gonna need to take those guys somewhere else.
Bank might not be a good idea.
I know we've been telling you for 2 weeks that you could film here, and that actually did happen to us the last day of filming, and I about had a breakdown because I was just kind of, you when you're filming a feature film, you film for so long that it's like. at first you're making magic. We are making the next Blair Witch Project, guys. We're going to be rich and famous, and everybody's going to want our autographs. And by the end of filming, like 3 months later or so,
Right.
you're just like, you again.
Oh, gee.
Well, yeah, but we're not going to know that as viewers.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you can't, when you watch the film, you can't tell anyone who had any problems with anyone. You can't tell who's best friend. Like, we have some people that are picking on some people in the movie that are really, really great
Oh, well,
friends.
that's the way actors are, right?
So, exactly.
And you have the exact opposite in some, in some.
Exactly.
I don't know if in your movie, but in famous lives,
Oh,
you'll see
absolutely.
people kissing and loving, and they hate each other.
Absolutely.
Right?
That
That happens
actually, more often than not, it's like two people that love each other on screen that hate each other in real life. And
So make us want to see the movie. Tell us the story. What is
all
the
right,
story?
Mr. White is a story about Tyler Rooney.
Is he the slave owner, by the way?
Mr. White was.
Mr. White is the slave owner.
Yeah, Mr.
Good
Benjamin
name.
White. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It was great.
I love those metaphors.
Okay.
So,
okay.
so Tyler Rooney is a college freshman. He's been bullied all through high school.
Yeah.
He is now in college, and the same people that were bullying him in high school have now continued to bully him in college because they just never grew up. And he becomes friends with the local voodoo shop owner, and she kind of introduces him to the ways of voodoo and hoodoo. And she
What is hoodoo?
Hoodoo's like the dark side of voodoo.
The dark
Hoodoo's-
side of voodoo.
Yeah, actually, when you hear
Must be really dark.
when you hear about voodoo, it's actually almost always some sort of a healing prayer or chant or ritual.
Oh, healing. That
It's
sounds
kind
good.
of like a white witch versus, when you hear witchcraft, you think, oh, scary. But when you talk to a white witch, they're like, oh, we just do spells for healing and this and that, and and it's just different than the way we do,
That
traditional
whole
medicine.
Rachel thing doesn't escape this conversation, does it? The White Witch is good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna get so much heat for this.
When the actors and actresses are performing in your movie, do they have a chance to become members of the Screen Actors Guild because they have to have a certain amount of credits?
They don't get that eligibility with our film because we're not actually a SAG production, which is the Screen Actors Guild. We could become SAG, but it's even more complicated process than filmmaking already is, and there really aren't many benefits to doing it in Florida. If we were in LA, it'd definitely we wouldn't even have gotten this far without being SAG.
Oh,
eligible.
they would have come down on you?
Yeah, well,
Really?
just there's everybody out there is SAG, so when you're non-SAG production, you can't have any SAG members in your film.
Oh,
so
really?
if Jim Carrey came to us and was like, "I love the script, I want to play, Uncle, whatever," then we wouldn't be able to use him in our film because we're a non-SAG
I got
production,
you,
and
I
he
got
could
you.
lose his SAG license for that.
So is this in the
So-
theaters? Is it on our
It is
computers?
going to be.
Okay.
We're actually premiering it later this month on June 23rd
Okay.
from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Marion Theater.
Okay, okay.
And they have been wonderful to work with. I cannot recommend them
So
highly
this
enough.
has got to be exciting for you.
Yes.
Everybody involved.
Yes.
Yes, we're right now. The film is doing the festival circuit, which is when a film is completed, we submit to festivals, and we pay a pretty penny to do it. So
Really?
we had to raise a lot of money locally. Fortunately, we had some wonderful Kickstarter donors that donated the money so that we.
Oh,
could
you
enter.
used Kickstarter for
Yeah,
the money.
I actually
Oh, wow.
Nice.
really like it. It brings everybody together, and it really gets them interested about the project.
Okay.
At first I fought it, but now I really.
So you were
am
able
thankful
to
for Kickstarter.
accomplish the whole movie, and
Yeah,
and
and we raised-
I stopped you short with my dopey line. So we got up to the White Witch, Black Witch thing.
Okay.
So
yeah. So, well, anyway, voodoo and hoodoo are the same thing. Voodoo is
Okay.
the healing kind, and hoodoo is the death to you kind. That you see it in the movie, and they call it voodoo, but it's not. It's actually hoodoo. So she teaches him about voodoo, and he dabbles in hoodoo a little bit with her as well. and she has this book, Bound in Human Flesh, that tells the story of
That's the title, or that's how it's bound?
No, it's bound in a man's flesh.
That's a Nazi thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a Necronomicon of sorts. And when you open it up, it's got the story of this slave owner. His name was Benjamin White. He was a doctor, and he owned a bunch of slaves. He created this unique weapon made from horse bit and chains and saw blades and all kinds of crazy things on his sawmill. And one day he beats a little girl to death, and her parents actually take revenge on him. One of the women that is in their group is an underground hoodoo practitioner, so she sets a spell on him that he's got to protect these kind of weaklings for all of eternity, and then they murder him and bound the book in his flesh. So he's got this book, and he's fascinated by it. Well, these kids just keep picking on him, to the point where it's absolutely like heartbreaking, some of the stuff that they do to him. So one day he snaps, and with the knowledge of everything that he has, and this creature he's seen in his mind, but nobody else can see, that fits this storyline perfectly. He summons with the hoodoo, and Mr. White comes back, and it's this gruesome monster, and he starts doing Tyler's bidding and seeking revenge for Tyler, and it is an all-out free-for-all by the end.
Wow.
Okay, now we've finished that. And then go back to the festival part, the part where you're in competition with other films.
Yes.
I want to make a comment about that, because that's a cool element of this, and here's why I say that: because we're going to get feedback from people who don't know the people in the film.
Absolutely.
See, I think Ocala, because I've had a little buzz going on around here. We've got a little buzz going about the fact that Anthony's in it. Who else do we know that's in the movie?
Kelly Hart, you said.
Kelly Hart.
Kelly Hart's in it.
And so we know some people who are in the film, so that's always exciting.
Absolutely.
And places, right? There are some places.
Absolutely.
Okay. No banks, but some places.
No, Kelly's father's sawmill is in the film.
Oh, really?
Her home is in the film. One of the banks actually is in the film. We ended up sweet talking our way back into using another room, and we made it work.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it's Ocala National Bank.
So, but I guess what I'm trying to say is the fact that we get excited because it's our people is not going to be the same excitement you get anywhere else, because we're you. I mean, you're part of us.
But what's amazing is that people in other towns, other cities are starting to notice us. It's starting.
That's what I'm getting at. Yeah.
Yeah, in a way, it's starting to put Ocala on a map. We just actually had our festival premiere in Los Angeles last month. We entered a bunch of festivals, and then what happens is once you enter it, they judge them, and they only have so many slots that they can fill for a film festival. And if you make the cut, and the film plays there, it can gain more audience members, and you're eligible for awards. If it doesn't, well, thanks for your $40 and goodbye, or your $80 or whatever. So we just made it into one in Los Angeles, and out in Los Angeles, I'm hearing actors who are in SAG productions, who are in big movies with big stars going, "Oh my God, the actors in your film are amazing. Where did you get them?" I was like, Ocala, Florida.
Anthony?
like, where?
This could be good news for you.
Yeah, I told Denzel he needed to watch out.
There you go.
He's going to be a star. He is definitely.
He's got a great voice. Before I knew that was your voice on the commercial you used to do, I was always like, "That's the friendliest voice on the air. Who is that?" And then I guess Dan was the one who told me it was you. I just didn't put two and two together when I heard it.
One of the most amazing things that you both are doing is that you're making this all public, because Ocala and Marion County have a lot of talent, but people have to be doing. You just can't form a group and say, okay, we're going to bring the films and the movies here, and then not do anything about it.
Exactly.
But you guys don't worry about groups and all that rigmarole, because nothing gets done. You're actually doing it. You created a project, you put the feelers out for the actors, you got the financing, and here it is, a finished product.
And we have local musicians that did all the scoring. We have have Brody Barcode and Chris Williams.
Yeah, name names. Let's hear who's in the film, who contributed to the film.
As far as musicians, we got Brody Barcode out of Ocala, Chris Williams out of Ocala. He used to be with a band called Getting Deep, which was a very, very popular band around here. And then Jerome Robinson, he plays.
Jerome,
he does some music for the film.
Very bassy,
Bill
right?
Kanzler,
Boom, boom. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's amazing with the bass. And Bill Kanzler, he's a musician out of Ocala, and he's played with many bands here. As far as talent from the film, we have talent from all over Central Florida. We have Andy from Palm Coast. We have Kelly from Ocala. We have Amber. She was in Gainesville. Now she's in Orlando. We have quite a few.
Do you make appearance in your own film?
No, I stopped doing that a while ago. When they started succeeding is when I started getting out of them. 'Cause this is actually my 5th film, and I was like the star of the first 2, and they just tanked. And and there's a good reason why. I thought I was going to be this great actress, and then you get that haze in your brain where you're like, oh, I'm awesome, and then you're not awesome at all.
But by doing it set you up to be able to recognize talent in other people.
Not just that, it gives me more empathy for the actors I'm working with. I don't just bark out orders and be like, why are you not crying yet? Cry. Yeah. Just cry. I know how hard it is to try to cry on cue because
Did you try to get Anthony to cry?
No, Anthony, he just nailed it. He blew me away. I'm going to be honest. This guy blew me away. When I saw him at auditions, everyone was real nervous. And you get a minute to audition. It's like I hand you a paper and you read some lines off it, and I'm like, next, and that's it. That was your chance to be in the film.
Really?
And so he came in. Everybody's nervous. I was nervous. I was trying not to act nervous, but I was like, auditions make me so nervous. That's the actress.
Let's do the Barbara Walters type of questions. Anthony, what was the biggest challenge in the whole course of making the movie?
The spiders out at the sawmill.
Yes.
Explain that.
Did you have extra spiders brought in?
We're talking.
Oh, these things were, I didn't understand where they came from. I didn't understand.
Mars.
I mean,
that's where they
we were out. There's spider webs and stuff out there, and you're sitting there and you're filming, and it's already hot. It was perfect weather for the scene.
It was. Everybody's drenched.
But you're drenched in sweat, and you're out there doing things, and all of a sudden there's this. You're sitting there, you feel something like it's this spiders. Like, are you serious? Somebody must be joking, but it's real.
It looks like a giant.
So it added to the film. I mean, it's a scary film anyway, right?
Yeah. Well, they were scared, so I think that the heat really was both a blessing and a curse that day. We filmed for almost a 14-hour day out at the sawmill, and we are talking dead of Florida summer, muggy, humid, and we have no cover. There's no shade or there's a tiny little bit of shade that everyone congealed in, and then we popped our trunks.
Sounds like the cows in the field. There's a tree, right?
It was insane. We had, but we planned for it. We planned ice water. We had beer on set. We had cold subs.
We were good.
Popsicles. I remember we were dishing out popsicles like they were
So as a filmmaker and a writer, a lot of times, like the last guest we just had on, he's a writer. He's not a filmmaker. He's hoping that a filmmaker comes to him. And in his case, when that day happens, he's going to be entrusting his story to somebody else.
Yeah.
In your case, you were the one, so you knew
absolutely
that whatever you wrote, did you write it as a book or as a screenplay?
No, I wrote it as a screenplay.
Oh, okay, so you didn't have to cut anything out.
No. I used to write novels in high school and college, but after that, I discovered the love of I discovered that I love screenwriting in high school. While I wrote both.
And were you sending out your screenplays to different producers and directors? And
did.
And then you said, you know what, I'm going to do it myself.
No, they just sat there in piles, and nobody ever read them, and I paid all this. I was in high school and college with no job and paying $10 for the copy of the script and $10 to ship it off, and then waiting, and I'm like, oh, it's a genius script, you're going to love it. And they're like, yeah. We pass on it. It felt too heavy, or just different, different things where they were like, "Yeah, we didn't read it."
So, what was your biggest challenge?
There's a lot of challenges when you're making a film in different ways, because I do both the technical and the creative side, which most directors don't do that.
So are you sitting up all night editing the day's scenes?
Not so much. I look at the day scenes and I get ready to edit them. I start editing once the film's done, but I make sure we don't need to go back and shoot anything else because I know in my mind how it's going to work in editing. Normally, you work with an editor and you don't get that privilege. It's like you just hand it to them and go,
you're
make
a one-man band, it sounds like.
I am, and it's not because I'm so full of myself. I'm the only one who can do it right. It's like
That was a good accent.
I'm very. I do a lot of them. Leave me on here long enough. I'll have a show on WCA.
You both have great actor names, by the way.
Thank you.
Erica Summers, Anthony James. It sounds like a movie, doesn't
cool.
it?
My maiden name is Erica Kane, after the All My Children star.
Susan Lucci?
Yeah, so growing up, all these, you'd be surprised, actually, a lot of, older men would come up to me and they're like, that's All My Children, isn't it? I'm like, how would you know that? Yes, it is.
Anthony, how did you find time to do all of the acting process in, and leave your day job to others to do while you left? How did that work?
A lot of these things were shot on the weekends and different slower times, so I was able to make it fit into that time. But I mean, other than that, it was pretty good to do.
Dan showed us the trailer, and it looks like part of it was filmed at the hotel.
Yes,
actually, yes, it was.
Yes, there's a
thank God for this guy.
Yeah, some of the basketball court, the pool area, and the meeting room.
It's shot we
there
made
as well.
a college classroom out of the meeting room, and
Larry and I always respect the talent of others, and it really gnaws at us when people say, "Oh, of course it's good because you've got a great camera." It's like, it's not the camera; it's the talent behind the camera. How do you convey that to the people?
It's difficult because you'll have a lot of, I have a lot of filmmaker friends, on my Facebooks and things like that, and they're all, cinephiles where it's like, oh, the newest camera came out, I gotta save $12,000 for this, and I'm like, I've got a $400 camera. But what's amazing is it's really not the camera. I mean, people have proven this time and time again where they've been award winners for different, I do wedding videography also, and there's a guy in the wedding industry, he won all these awards for his wedding videos, and people are like, it's because you got a great camera, it's because you got a great camera. And he went back just to prove it, and he shot another wedding on a phone, and won an award with it.
I love that. I love
It's
that.
the talent.
By the way, I hope you don't ever confuse
good for
the
him.
clips. Like here's a wedding and you get sleepy and you're putting some hoodoo. Right after the I do comes the hoodoo.
I will tell you that it has been difficult because all of my emails come to the same email box because I just can't keep them all straight. I get like 400 emails in a day, so I'll get weddings and everything about the horror films. Well, when I sign, I have an automatic signature that goes on and it says Erica Summers, and then it has my wedding videography page and then both of my last two films. And so usually I'll just cut off the films when I'm sending it to a bride, but sometimes I get jetting along.
Can you imagine?
I'll send it, and they're like, "What's Mr. White?" And I'm like, "Only the best horror movie ever made in this area."
I love the way you pronounce horror. It's horror. Wow. Yeah, it makes me want to see it even more. Now let me.
There's a little
of that in there. Yeah. I read something one time regarding the comment Robin made about if you compliment a photographer's camera, you say, "Wow, you must have a great camera." It's like saying to a chef, "Wow, you must have a great oven."
Yeah. What a great knife to make this meal. It's all in the knife, I guess.
So what do we need to know in order to go see the movie? The downtown screening is one of them.
Yes, the Marion Theater is going to be the main one, and if we can sell out tickets to that, we will do a repeat showing in the upstairs theater that holds 100 later on the summer. And then we also, later this year, I don't have a date for it just yet, but we will also have a Palm Coast premiere at the Epic Theater.
Oh, nice.
And that's a very nice, holds 300 as well, big theater. And then we have several festivals coming up and we're hearing about them all throughout the year. So if you're subscribed to our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/I am Mr. White, all spelled out, you'll get updates on where our upcoming screenings will be. For example, we just found out the other day that we made it into CenFlo, which is the Central Florida Film Festival. It's a huge festival in Florida, and it's right there in Orlando.
Oh, excellent.
So I think it's $10
That's a good
a head.
festival,
So yeah.
Real quick question about the poster. He's holding what I think is a crystal pawn. Am I right?
It's a crystal king, actually.
Oh, it's a king.
Yeah.
Okay. So is there a metaphor there?
There is. At one point in the movie, he has a monologue about how chess mimics life and how the pawns are your blue collar minimum wage earners, and these are your religious zealots, and these are your doctors and lawyers, and how each one symbolizes a different clique of the different occupation.
Right.
And then, so the uncle mentioned something about how the queen is the crazy mother, which is a very sore subject for him because he actually has a crazy mother.
Wow.
And then he talks about the king and how symbolic it is to him. And then later that comes back as he's seeking his revenge.
Well, congratulations on this project. Obviously, it sounds like you put a lot into it.
We definitely have a lot of effort, and it shows.
That's your photo?
Yes, I took that, actually.
Anthony, good to see you again.
Good to see you all.
And this is exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing the film and seeing other faces that I might recognize.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes. It should be good.
You should come down
Everybody,
6 to 9.
Yep, June 23rd.
June 23rd, Sunday, June 23rd.
Okay.
Yep, and go online. Go to like the Facebook page is Mr. Right, MISTER. Don't
Yes.
Spell it out.
Okay.
spell it out. And you can go online. You can get tickets and everything. But it's great. It's going to be at the Marion County Theater. So.
All right.
Nice.
Erica Summers.
Yes.
Nice to meet you. Thank
Nice
you for
to meet
coming
you.
in. We're so impressed by your talent and your enthusiasm. And Anthony James, we've
Thank
always
you.
been impressed by you. Thank you for what you do for our community.
Wait till you see this movie. You're going to be even more impressed by him. He is great.
What did you dress him in?
Just rags.
Yeah,
like a brown shirt, a brown pants, and a brown shoes.
And it was just drenched in. I played the part very well.
He did.
Yes.
Did you do anything with your hair, your facial hair? or
I
anything?
didn't. I was going to do something with my hair, but I knew because of the humidity, it was going to get all frizzy, so I just left it alone.
Okay, all right. Thank you. You made Ocala a lot more exciting with this,
Thank
and
you.
that's a great contribution for all of us. Thank you for doing that and for coming in to talk about it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That makes me feel wonderful.
We'll take a little break, and we will be right back.
You're listening to WOCA News Talk 1370, Ocala's source for what's happening in today's hottest, up-to-date news and topics.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Life jackets save lives. Where in Florida? Potential tropical depression.